Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 12th of May, 2021, to talk about everything. And when I say everything, that's a lot that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite, because boy, did this show feel like they went, pay-per-view in 3 weeks. We've only announced one thing. Shit, we need to announce a bunch of stuff. And they tried to pack a million things into this show, and great wrestling throughout the show. I will say that for sure. But the overall vibe of the show was just, how do I say it? Hampered, I guess you could say, by just so much bullshit happening. And that may be a little harsh saying so much bullshit, but a lot of stuff went down on tonight's show. And we'll get into that. But I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited or YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you're watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, if you're watching here on Twitch, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can subscribe either with a tiered subscription or for free with Amazon Prime if you already pay Amazon for Amazon Prime, whether that's for their video service, their free shipping, or so forth. Amazon Prime gives you one free Twitch Prime subscription that gives you free stuff for games. It gives you free games sometimes, but it always gives you one free Twitch subscription to any channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it. We'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways in the live chat by hitting us up with a super chat or a super sticker donation. All super chat donations do get read live on the air. Also, remember, if you are watching here on YouTube, you can subscribe as a channel member. Just go down to where it says join, next to where it says subscribe. As a channel member, you get early access to podcasts, early access to non-news videos, early access to exclusive news, an emoji, or multiple emojis actually, that you can use in the live chat, and a badge next to your name. But if you want to just directly support us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, you can also do that at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But we've got a show to talk about, AEW Dynamite. Let's get down to it. So the show opened up where we saw Jon Moxley and Yuji Nagata basically doing their little warm-ups as their match is opening the show. And boy, howdy, was this just the perfect match to open up the show. No bullshit went down, straight up fight between these two guys who want the U.S. title, and I loved every minute of it. So Yuji Nagata comes out first. They say the challenger, and then they announce the champion. Moxley comes out with Eddie Kingston, but he doesn't come out to his normal theme song. Oh, no, no, no. Moxley instead comes out to the song Wild Thing. You know what song I'm talking about. Wild Thing. You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. I want to know for sure. That Wild Thing. And at first I was like, why the hell is he coming out to a Wild Thing? And you think about it and go, maybe, and I'm just speculating, and it could be why, maybe it was a tribute to Onita, who had his own version of a Wild Thing that he used to come out to. I don't know why he would be doing that, but it was cool. It was funny. I don't think it's going to be a regular thing for Moxley. I hope it's not a regular thing for Moxley to come out to Wild Thing, because I love his music and think his music fits him very well. I do want to say thank you to Jack Dawson for the super sticker donation in the YouTube chat. But like I said, this match was just a tremendous, fun, overall great match. It was Yuji Nagata's first match on TNT in 23 years. Yeah, you heard me right, ladies and germs. 23 years. Also want to thank Ruben in the YouTube chat for the bit donations. Really do appreciate that. But they immediately exchanged forearms, Nagata and Moxley, that is, in the center of the ring. Nagata was forced into the corner, but landed a knee lift and a boot. He sent Moxley to the floor. We then see, oddly enough, very unexpected, Rocky Romero in the crowd watching. And I go, They ain't doing that just for nothing. They're not just having Rocky in the crowd just to have Rocky in the crowd. There has to be a reason for this. I don't know what that reason is, but could Rocky be the next challenger to Moxley? I mean, they showed Lance Archer in the crowd as well with Jake the Snake, but they also referenced that he's a former U.S. champion, so I don't know. Plus, they set something else up with Archer and Jake later on, but regardless, out on the floor, Moxley landed a diving knee and sent Nagata into the barricade. Back in the ring, Moxley hit a soccer kick and an elbow for a 2. Like I said, they showed the former IWGP US champion Lance Archer with Jake Roberts. Moxley then hit mid kicks for another 2 count. He went to the top rope, but Nagata caught Moxley's dive and laid in kicks to the midsection of his own. He caught Moxley with an exploder suplex and got a near fall off of it. Nagata used his misdirection drop kick to take Moxley off his feet. He laid in some mid kicks of his own, but Moxley fired up as they exchanged more forearms. Moxley hit a German suplex and a running lariat for a 2. Nagata powered out of the pile driver attempt and attempted to perch Moxley on the top rope. He then hit an avalanche exploder and a mid kick for a very close 2. Also, when Moxley hit the clothesline or the lariat, they stated that was the way he defeated Minoru Suzuki. So Moxley turns the match into his favor by applying a rear naked choke, but Nagata escaped into the Shiromu armbar. We saw the whites of Nagata's eyes as they're popping out of his head, but Moxley was able to reach the ropes to break the hold. They traded more strikes, and Nagata hit an enziguri, and Moxley came back with a sliding lariat and went for a bulldog choke. Moxley was cut at this point under his eye. Repeated knee strikes and the paradigm shift was just enough for Moxley to pin Nagata and retain the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. After the match, both Moxley and Nagata bowed to one each other, showing respect to the other. I thought this match was phenomenal. Probably couldn't have gone any better than it did. I loved the shit out of this match, and I thought it was the perfect opener, set a great vibe. But, I mean, for matches on the show, it set a great vibe because a lot of the matches tonight were good, if not great. But as far as setting a vibe for the show itself, yeah, this show went off the rails of points. So, weird segment. Like, Ortiz cut a great promo in the back. It was Ortiz, Jake Hager, and Sammy Guevara talking about blood and guts. And Ortiz says, yes, we lost the Pinnacle 1. He said, but MJF showed his true colors. And I go, who's shocked that MJF threw Jericho off the cage after they surrendered the match? Like, showed his true colors? You idiot. He then said, Santana was arrested and still detained for using a fork in the match. And my first thought was, ain't there no rules in that match? If there's no rules in that match, how is somebody going to get arrested and detained for using a fucking fork? And it's been a week. He's still in jail? This made absolutely no sense. Hager then goes, we want another match. Guevara goes, the Pinnacle, they got a coronation tonight, but it's going to become their funeral. And I go, oh boy, we're going to get this coronation of the Pinnacle, and the Inner Circle's going to interrupt. And boy, was that interruption bad. Bad. But it's like, there's no rules in this match. Anything goes, right? So how's a guy going to get arrested for using a fork? I've seen way more harmful shit take place in wrestling in this company. And guys don't get arrested. That line made absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever. Before we get going, I do want to let you guys know, if you want to be part of the show tonight, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. Also, I didn't get the polls going. What did you think of tonight's... Oh, there's an O and an F Nights. Dynamite. Get these polls up really quick. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. Which poll is live. Throw that same poll up on the YouTube, as some may call it. The YouTube. Boom, boom, boom. I liked it. It was all right. All right. Poll is live on both Twitch and YouTube as Cody comes out for his segment. And boy, was this just way too much. Oh my God. Cody really made this. I represent America, and we're going to take out the world. It is the U.S. versus the world, or at least the U.S. versus the United Kingdom. And doing shit like this just does not work in 2021, at least in my opinion. Doing the whole U.S. versus the world. Now, if they were doing, like, say, TNA used to do back in the day, the X Cup, where it's literally one team represents the United States and another team represents the international wrestlers of the show, and you have matches and stuff to gain points and earn, okay, that's fine. But when you say, I'm going to represent the entire country, when I don't even remember Anthony Ogogo cutting a promo talking bad about the United States, it makes no sense. But Cody discussed some of the classic patriotic conventions about being, quote, proud to be an American, and this prompted USA chants. Talked about Anthony Ogogo talking down on the United States, which, again, I don't remember him doing that. Was that a Dark thing? Because I don't fucking watch Dark. He brought up that Ogogo makes his money in America because America offered or afforded him to get a visa to work in this country. They gave him the right to work here. He said, quote, you didn't come here to live the England dream. He then brought up Bruno Sammartino being an Italian-American immigrant, as well as Shad Khan being an immigrant. He then got emotional, talking about how 60 years ago, America was segregated. But soon, his wife will give birth to a beautiful baby who is both white and black. He said, in that same city, where black people and white people couldn't go into the same places, my daughter will be born. Like, huh? You ending segregation, bro? He then would go on to say, I have to show her that I will not lay under another man's flag. Basically said, I got to win for my daughter, which means, Anthony Ogogo, you fucked. You're fucked, bro. In your first big match in the company, you're getting fucking killed by Cody. Cody is going to beat you because Cody said, for one night only, sorry, Justin Roberts, you don't get to do your normal spiel. I will not be the American Nightmare. Oh, no, I will be the American Dream because it will be Anthony Ogogo versus the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. And I go, shoot me now. Are you fucking kidding me? So dumb. It is Cody representing every American against this one guy from England who talked crap about the company or the country. I don't even remember what he said. It was that, if he said it on Dynamite, it was that unmemorable. That unmemorable. So, I don't even know. This was the second baffling thing of the night. The first baffling thing of the night was saying that Santana was arrested for using a fork. Now Cody coming out here saying that he's got to win for his unborn daughter, who's a mixed baby, which nothing wrong with that. I have plenty of friends that are mixed, but regardless, like, he basically made this a race thing and a my country versus your country thing, and it just does not work in 2021. There was 100% no reason for him to bring up the race stuff at all. At all. But we'll see where it goes. Anthony Ogogo, your first big pay-per-view match. I feel bad for you, bro. I really do. Because Cody's going to beat you. Ain't no way Cody's coming out on TV saying that I got to win this for my unborn daughter and then going to do the job to Anthony Ogogo. That would be the smart move, Cody losing to Ogogo, but I highly doubt that happens. I highly doubt that fucking happens. But with that, Cody Rhodes will be taking on Anthony Ogogo on May 30th at Double or Nothing. As we go forward, a video played where SCU talked about how they don't like the Young Bucks and their attitude recently. All that's left is for them to beat the Bucks up. They brought up their, quote, break up when we lose ultimatum, saying that it put them at the top of their game because, well, they couldn't lose. So they're willing to go as far as they can to get what they want, a.k.a. tag team titles. Don Callis joined commentary for this match because, he follows the Elite everywhere. The Bucks were accompanied by the Good Brothers as well, and they talked about, oh, look at the Bucks wearing their $1,000 shoes. Like, really? They pay a lot for clothes, so that's why they're heels? Overdone. They do it too much. Oh, my shirt, it costs this much. Look at my shoes, it costs that much. And then Callis later goes, those shoes are $5,000. And I think it was Tony Schiavone goes, I thought at the start of the match it was only $1,000, Don. It was either Tony or Caliber who said it. And Don literally goes, well, they've worn the shoes on TV, so they've gone up in price. Anyways, great match. CD got fucked up. I don't know if he was supposed to get busted open or not, but he was just a bloody mess, to say the least. So the match was very heated from the start as Kazarian and Nick Jackson started it off with slaps. Nick tried to bait Kazarian into an attack, but Kazarian didn't fall for it as he and Daniels worked together to dispatch the Bucks with double team moves. A leg drop from Kazarian got a 2 at one point, and SCU was firmly in control, beating down Nick Jackson until Matt illegally backdropped Daniels to the floor, allowing the Bucks to take out Kazarian. Matt powerbombed Daniels into the apron, and Nick landed a flipping senton to go to the break. During the commercial break, SCU regained control, and once back, Daniels and Kazarian worked together on a powerbomb neckbreaker combo for a 2. SCU then hit the Celebrity Rehab, and I love how Excalibur goes, oh, they call that the Celebrity Rehab, and Tony Schiavone lost his shit going, that's the greatest name ever. Did you come up with that, Excalibur? He goes, oh, no, they've been calling it that for a long time, for a while, and Tony's just like, I love the name. I fought for that a little bit, but they hit it on Nick. But a distraction from Matt allowed Nick to come back with a rising knee and a bulldog on Kazarian. A slingshot X Factor allowed the Bucks to take the advantage. Then on the floor, Nick superkicked Daniels into the ring post. Daniels was then busted open bad. Like, holy crap, puddles upon puddles of blood. Just gushing out of his head. Like, he would move his head and there's a new puddle. He'd scooter up, puddle. Like, this man was bloody to no ends. But Nick Jackson haunted him. Kazarian slingshotted Nick back into the ring with a cutter for a 2. The Bucks realized that Daniels was hurt, hit a buckle bomb, and Kazarian fought out of more bucks than your bang, or no, more bang than your buck, and applied a double pin on both Bucks after a Northern Lights suplex for a 2. Kazarian rolled up Matt for a visual pin, but Doc Gallows had the distraction of the referee. Kazarian hit a Styles Clash, looking straight at the Good Brothers on Matt Jackson, but Nick dove in at the last second to break up the pin, which I didn't like this because Nick is just, you can see that he's going to dive in. He's just like literally in position to do this dive in from the ramp, and the ref counts 1, the ref counts 2, then Nick dives in. He's just sitting there, prone, waiting to do it, and I go, okay, Nick's going to break up this pin. Why are you waiting? Oh, you want it to be dramatic. Too foreshadowed. So, Bucks maintained control, and Matt took out Kazarian with a super kick and a knee strike until Daniels broke up another pinfall. Daniels hit the Angel's wings, tagged himself in, but Matt immediately cut him off with a spear. Daniels avoided a super kick, and Matt powered out of an Angel's wings attempt. Matt mocked Daniels and said, quote, "I'm sorry, I love you," but did it in a way where he didn't mean it. You could tell by the way he said it, kind of mocking the HBK Flair moment from WrestleMania 24. He crushed Christopher Daniels with a super kick, but Daniels kicked out at 2. Daniels then hit a Uranagi and attempted a BME, but stumbled. On the second attempt, he hit the BME, and Nick broke up the pin. Good Brothers were then dispatched by Daniels, but the distraction came again for the referee. Matt would then get the cold spray from Brandon Cutler and spray it in Daniels' eyes. Nick then tagged in and hit the BTE trigger. Kazarian tried to break up the pin, but was too late. Daniels got pinned. They lost. Bucks take the titles, remain the champions, and SCU is no more. Then we got this moment where it's supposed to be SCU are broken up. Kazarian just disheveled. Daniels, I'm fucking bloody. What just happened? I lost the match. But no, they don't show us that. They cut to the fucking back where Moxley and Kingston are destroying the Elite's locker room, throwing stuff around and this and that. Come back from the break and they go, here's what you missed after that match. Well, SCU is no more. And they hugged it out afterwards. Christian was then interviewed about Taz. Christian said Taz was a bad man at one point in time, but now Taz won't step in the ring. He said next week he has an open challenge to any member of Team Taz. He also announced that he's in the Casino Battle Royal, and I go, wait, when was that match announced? The Casino Battle Royal? Again, trying to do too much on one show. You just randomly have someone say, I'm in the Casino Battle Royal, but never even officially announced the match, unless it was announced earlier in the week. I didn't see it. Then, fucking Matt Sydal comes up and goes, I'm in the Battle Royal too. I want to fight you next week. I'm not in Team Taz, but let's do it. And Christian accepts. And I go, wait a second. You literally just said an open challenge to any member of Team Taz. But then you're going to face Matt Sydal? Where's the fucking logic there? Again, what the hell, AEW? What the hell? As we move forward, we get AEW World Championship Eliminator match, where it's a number one contenders match. I've never liked the name Eliminator because that implies we're doing some sort of a tournament, and this is like an early stage of the tournament match where people are getting eliminated from the tournament. Anyways, because they've done that before. They've called their tournaments the Eliminators. So don't just call your fucking number one contender matches Eliminator matches. I've ranted about this before, especially when it's like non-title matches with the champions, like when the Bucks took on the Sydals and you called it an Eliminator match. Makes no fucking sense. Just call it a number one contenders match or a non-title match, because now people are confused on what's what. But anyways, the winner of this match, whether it's Pac or Orange Cassidy, will move on to take on Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing with a title on the line. And the match was fun. Cassidy put his shades on Pac, that is, who subsequently smashed them. Cassidy was about to do his hands in the pocket gimmick when Pac wasn't having it. Remember, these two have fought before. Revolution 2020. Cassidy immediately turned it into the beach break for a close near fall before landing his hands in his pockets and a tope suicida and putting a backup pair of glasses on. During a commercial break, Pac took control with an attack on the floor. Once back from the break, Pac sent Cassidy to the barricade, and basically, Pac almost never looked back. Back in the ring, Pac climbed to the top and hit two shotgun drop kicks. He hit a third to Cassidy's back for a 2. Pac went back to the top, but Cassidy did roll slowly away, avoiding a black arrow. Pac then jumped off the top rope, ran at Orange Cassidy, and stomped the crap out of him. Said, you ain't getting away from me that easily. Cassidy then cockily rolled out of the way again of a black arrow and gave Pac the thumbs up. He then countered an attack, sending Pac into the turnbuckle and applying a victory roll for a 2. A thrust kick from Pac stopped Cassidy's attack in his tracks. Pac then followed this up with a Liger bomb for a 2. Pac pushed Cassidy to the floor into the second commercial break. During that break, Cassidy was checked on by the referee, and we did hear Orange Cassidy did get somewhat hurt in this match, but it was said that by the time he got backstage, he was okay, but they did call an audible. The original story, according to Fightful, is that this match was supposed to go 20 minutes and end in a draw. They were supposed to do the time limit draw, then get the triple threat. But because Orange was hurt, they didn't know how bad he was hurt during the match, they called the audible. That's why instead of doing the full 20-minute no contest draw, Don Callis comes out, taunts Pac, distracts the referee. Kenny Omega attacks Pac from behind with the belt, and then all of a sudden the ref starts counting. 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, ring the bell. No man gets to their feet. Double count out. So they do the double count out, and Don and Kenny go, well, looks like you don't have a challenger for the pay-per-view, kid. What do you want to do with the night off? And Kenny's like, fire up the Harley, get that now Kawasaki Ninja going. We're going on a road trip. And Tony Schiavone slowly walks over, and they go, what are you doing? No, you don't come over here. And Tony Schiavone's like, I just got some breaking news. And Kenny's like, well, you're not going to give me those news until I put my glasses on. Don, give me my sunglasses. He puts the sunglasses on, make Don step down under them or whatever. And Tony Schiavone says, well, I've just been informed by Tony Khan that you will be defending the championship at Double or Nothing. Not against one, but two opponents in a trios match, triple threat match, triangle match, whatever they called it. They don't want to say triple threat. Just like they don't say six-man tag, they say trios. They didn't say triple threat. They said like triangle match or something. Tony Schiavone stated, you will be defending your title against both Pac and Orange Cassidy. Kenny threw a little fit. That's what it was. Broken King Slender. Three-way match. That's what it is. Thank you, Broken King Slender. Kenny threw a little fit, and the match is official. At Double or Nothing, Kenny Omega will defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against both Pac and Orange Cassidy. And correct me if I'm wrong. This will be the first time in the 3-year history of AEW that they are doing for at least a singles title. They may have done this for the tag titles. I don't think so. They're doing a triple threat match for the titles. Actually, to be completely honest, at least for the world title, this is the first time it's not one-on-one for the belt. So that's very interesting. It's also the first time they've ever done the 10-count, double count-out deal where no one can get to their feet. Not the first draw they've done in AEW. That was, I think, Moxley and Pac. But it was the first count to 10, nobody got to their feet, match is over. So they did a couple of firsts tonight. Announced the first 3-way for a title and did the first 10 count, no one got to their feet thing. But again, at Double or Nothing on May 30th, we'll see a triple threat for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So going forward, the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers were just pissed off in their locker room. They were just upset that Moxley and Kingston would do this. The Bucks said that they wanted to show that they're fighting champions, and next week they're going to defend their titles against the number 1 ranked team in AEW, the Varsity Blondes. He said, Pillman, you want to be like your daddy? You want to be a tag team champion? Well, that ain't going to happen. You're not beating us. Matt then said that we are inviting Moxley and Kingston to a super kick party at Double or Nothing. Basically, what we expected. The Young Bucks defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Moxley and Kingston at the pay-per-view. The match wasn't officially announced, but again, this was the announcement of this title match at the pay-per-view. Moxley, Kingston challenging the Young Bucks. Should be a pretty fun match. I don't see this match not being good. So then, we get more stuff teased and announced for Dynamite. Double or Nothing. Hangman Page, flanked by the Dark Order, was interviewed about his loss to Brian Cage and him falling in the rankings. Still makes no sense. The Dark Order then consoled Hangman Page, but Page said it took 3 men to beat him down before the match even started. That it wasn't Cage that took him out, but Taz. Page then said, how about me and Cage? We meet one more time. You and me in the ring one-on-one, and let's make it Double or Nothing. John Silver will then try to be witty and go, whoa, Adam, that's the name of the pay-per-view. Did you just insinuate something? You want this match a double or nothing? And Page basically just goes, we'll see what Cage has to say. So, it was announced later on in the night, Hangman Page will be taking on Brian Cage at Double or Nothing in a singles match. Nothing on the line, just a singles match. Cool, okay. He wants to avenge his only loss of the year. We then get the Pinnacle Coronation, or should I say, another WWE knockoff segment. Brought to you by All Elite Wrestling. So the announcers recap Blood and Guts from last week and everything that happened as the Pinnacle came down to the ring, flanked by a bunch of women for their celebration. I will say, Tully Blanchard, hell of a promo. But MJF said he's taken Jericho's spot. He is the new demo god, and they are the greatest draw in the history of professional wrestling. And I go, first off, Darby Allin main eventing Dynamite did a better number than your show did twice. And you were beat last week, not on the same night, but in the same week, by both Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Friday. So they did this whole Dynamite was number one for the first time on cable on Wednesday night. Yeah, fucking woohoo. He literally said, we're the greatest draw in all professional wrestling. We're the biggest draw in history. Yet you were wasn't even the biggest number Dynamite's ever done. Wasn't even the biggest number Dynamite's done in the last month. Let alone the biggest number any wrestling show did last week. Just saying. MJF would go on to talk about breaking records in Canada on TSN as well, and said that's all thanks to a Sean Spears, a Canadian god, or something like that. MJF then talked about how the Inner Circle was down 2 men. Said one, because he stabbed MJF, and the other because he fell off the cage. He asked the crowd, quote, if they'd like to see a rematch. The crowd chanted rematch, and MJF said, nope, not happening. Tully then took the mic, and boy, was Tully on his fucking game tonight. So I said the Pinnacle took everything from the Inner Circle, everything they can dish out, and it wasn't even enough. He mocked the Inner Circle's reasonings for quitting, surrendering the match. He revealed that he had bought expensive watches for the group, so every time they look at their wrist, they can say, quote, that was a present from Tully Blanchard, and that's what being part of the Pinnacle is all about. All of a sudden, we hear some honking. I gotta go, okay. AEW, you've done this too many times. The whole, someone's going to drive in with a car or something, and they're going to honk, and yeah, this is like the 5th time I've seen this. Anyways, we get the honking, and we see Ortiz, Hager, and Guevara ride in on a Polaris. The Polaris has some sort of a hose on top of it with a trailer attached to the back, a big old sign that says a little bit of the bubbly. And I go, Lord help me if they do what I think they're going to do. Oh my God, no, they're not. And so they drive in, and MJF told them, drive off. The Inner Circle's dead. And all of a sudden we hear, hey, Max. And it's Jericho's voice, and Jericho pops up from the trailer. And he goes, I'm here, wearing a big old cast on his arm and stuff. He's like, we want a rematch. And MJF says it, no. He says, Jericho then says, Sammy, give it to him. As Sammy sprays the Pinnacle with fucking a little bit of the bubbly. They recreated the Austin 1999 beer truck segment where someone is being praised for a big win, and then somebody else comes out and douses them with a liquid. Because if you remember back in 99, the whole thing was Rock was being praised for being the WWF champion by Vince and Shane. Yeah, Mankind came out and kind of messed up some of the stuff, whatever. Okay, cool. But then Austin comes out with the beer truck. Bada bing, bada boom. We all know what happened from there. Well, they hose down, Sammy hoses down the Pinnacle with a little bit of the bubbly before finally MJF loses his shit in the corner and says, you know what? You want a rematch? You've got it. And we're going to do the match that you lost last year, Stadium Stampede. But if the inner circle loses, you break up forever. What do you say? So, we're getting Stadium Stampede again this year. And it looks like, well, Inner Circle's going to win because they ain't breaking up. But here's my worry. So, AEW is running a full capacity in Daly's place for Double or Nothing. Cody even said the fans will be allowed at ringside, like sitting along the barricade. And so if you're going to have a full crowd there, you're literally going to make them watch a match on the fucking big screen. I get it. They did it last week. A whole hour of the show they watched on the big screen. And then they did the Double or Nothing, or not the Double or Nothing, the Blood and Guts match live. But you're going to have 55,000 people at least in that building and make them watch this match on the big screen, whether they do it live in the stadium or it's pre-taped before. They're not going to say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Stadium Stampede. All rise, get out of your seats, walk over to the stadium, find a new seat. No, they're not going to do that. So 55,000 people in Daly's place are going to have to watch this damn match on the screen. Here's the thing. Last week, AEW did state, if anybody wants a refund because you have to watch matches on the screen, we'll give it to you. 5 people asked for refunds last week. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, literally, they're going to have to watch this match on the screen. Now, last year's, I want to see something. Last year's Stadium Stampede match went 34 minutes. Not bad, but that means there's a good chance that there's a 34-minute match this crowd is going to have to watch on the screen. And we don't even know if it's going to be live to where they start in the stadium. This would be the best way to do it. You do the fucking match live in the stadium, and then everybody, or at least 2 people, end up inside Daly's for the finish. That would be the best way to go. That would be, in my opinion, the best way to do it for the crowd. You start in the stadium. They fight all around the stadium. They fight to where they migrate into Daly's, and that's where the match ends. But if they do it at a pre-taped match like they did last week, again, you're just watching the whole thing on the fucking screen. So we'll see how they do it. I think they should do the whole start in the stadium and migrate eventually into Daly's in the ring in front of the crowd. Britt Baker did a sit-down interview with Jim Ross earlier in the day about challenging Hikaru Shida for the Women's Championship at Double or Nothing. She recalled Shida breaking her nose, putting her on the shelf for 5 months, and basically pissing her off so much that she became, as she said, the baddest bitch on the block. She said it's poetic that the monster that Shida created will be the one to destroy her and take her title. JR asked if Baker was taking things a little too far, like when Tony Khan was doing a photo shoot for Forbes and she tried to make it all about herself. Shida then came out to stop Britt Baker from being egotistic, and there was the pull-apart brawl, whatever, cool, okay. Baker said that she's the face of this division. She's the role model, the heart and soul, and the pulse of the AEW Women's Division. She said, when you have a pulse, you don't need a machine keeping anything alive. She said, Double or Nothing division will keep itself alive when I become the champion. Britt Baker cut a hell of a promo here. She's great on the mic. She has evolved in her mic skills from when AEW first started, and she only gets better. So that's a positive. That's a very good positive. But then, the only women's match of the night goes roughly 2 minutes when Thunder Rosa, all I got to say is, destroyed and what's the word I'm looking for? Squashed Jasmine Allure. Do a fucking squash match for a chick you don't even have signed. Okay, cool. Like, there's not even much to talk about. Rosa just destroyed her with the Fire Thunder driver and beat her. They then talked about Serena Deeb being the NWA Women's World Champion and said Serena Deeb will return next week. Speaking of next week, the NWA Women's World Championship will be on the line when Serena Deeb defends her title against the 5th-ranked Red Velvet. The AEW World Tag Team Championships will be on the line when the Young Bucks defend against the Varsity Blondes. Christian Cage will be taking on Matt Sydal next week, and Anthony Ogogo will go one-on-one with Austin Gunn. As far as Double or Nothing does go, we got 4 new matches announced tonight. Well, not 4 new matches, 3 new matches. Hangman Page will officially take on Brian Cage. Cody Rhodes will be taking on Anthony Ogogo. We already know that the Women's World Championship will be on the line. Shida versus Baker. Excuse me. I drank one of these Monster Energy Rises. It's just, whew, give me the burps. And the AEW World Championship will be on the line when Kenny Omega defends against both Pac and Orange Cassidy. We then get a Jade Cargill sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone. He recapped Mark Sterling, of all people, offering managerial services to Cargill. He said, I represented MJF in getting him the biggest contract of anybody here. I could do the same for you. Tony would then go on to state, you got many different people who want to represent you, like Vicky Guerrero, Mark Sterling, and so forth. Who's it going to be? Who will handle your business? And she goes, oh, I can handle my own. I'm my own boss. But I am listening to offers because, well, I'm that bitch. Which, that's how she ends all of her stuff, saying, I'm that bitch. Then we get a video before the main event of Darby Allin talking about, well, himself getting thrown down the steps last week. They said, Darby, are you okay? He goes, yeah, I'm all right. I can't stop. What happened last week happened. I went back home to Seattle. Seattle's not that great of a town, but it's my hometown. And I came here to wind down. Said, I'm ready for Miro and whatever he's going to throw at me. He said, Miro came here to prove himself, but all Miro's done is be somebody else's best man and play video games. What has he proven in AEW? Allin said, what have you actually done since coming here? Allin knows exactly who Miro is. He said, Miro is generic, and he won't take Allin's championship. He said, no matter what happens, Miro will have to admit that Allin is one of the toughest men he's ever stepped in the ring with. Then we got Miro versus Darby Allin. I'm going to fucking say it right now. If you did not see this match, go back and watch it. This match was great. Also, friend of the Fiend, did I say Monster? I'm pretty sure I said I might have said Monster Energy Rise. Mountain Dew Rise. Right there. Mountain Dew Rise. My bad. Regardless, this match, I can watch it again. I liked it that much. Like, this match was freaking great. Miro attacks Darby Allin before the bell, and you think, oh, he's going to destroy him before the bell, throw him in the ring, pin him, bada bing, bada boom, Miro's the new champion. But that's not what happened. Match went, I want to say, like 15 minutes, and was just pure greatness by both men. So, again, Miro attacks before the bell. He throws Darby over the barricade, jumps the barricade. Then he grabs Darby belly to belly, like effortlessly, over his head. Just throws Darby over his head, over the barricade. Darby lands right on his fucking tailbone, smacks the back of his head on the mat. And we see Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page watching on. So, Darby gets thrown in the ring. Miro's wearing red and gold tights with the TNT fucking belt painted on the front, which was a dead giveaway. He winning. He ain't winning that if he ain't winning, but regardless. The official eventually started the match, and Miro landed just a stiff and hard Machka kick right away for a very close near fall that Darby barely kicked out of. Also, I do have to say, there is 1,000,000% no denying that Darby may be one of, if not the most popular guy in AEW. I'm going to say it right now. He gets like one of, if not the biggest pop of anybody when they enter. Not even when he enters, when his music just starts. It's like Moxley level. Like, Moxley pops as soon as his music hits, and then he walks out. Pop again. Darby. Pop when his music hits. Pop again when he walks out. If not, just a tiny bit bigger. Darby may be the most popular guy in AEW. I'm going to say it right now. Like, you can argue it's either Moxley or Darby, but I'm going to say it might be Darby. As soon as Darby's music hits, the dun, 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 or however it is, that crowd is, wah! And then he comes out with Sting and then again. But back to the match. So Moxley, no, sorry. Miro goes for this pin off the Machka kick, and Darby barely kicks out. Darby then fires back up and hits a shotgun dropkick on the floor. And when you call this a shotgun dropkick, when he kicked Miro right here in the midsection, it was like, you heard that. But it didn't take the big man off his feet. He then went for a flipping stunner, and Miro countered it. But Allen sent Miro into the post. Allen then landed a fantastic missile tope through the ropes and just collided right into Miro, bounced off of Miro, knocked Miro down, bounces off of Miro, and basically ragdolls himself all on the floor. Darby Allin's going to either die an early death or be crippled by 35. He keeps taking fucking bumps like this. Allen then tried to follow this up with a coffin drop, but Miro caught him and hit him with a German suplex on the floor. So someone needs to time this fucking show out better. We go to commercial, and during the first of like 4 commercials, if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss this. But Ethan Page gets out of his seat and distracts Sting so Scorpio Sky can attack Sting. Then we go through like a Tide commercial and a bunch of other commercials before the show finally comes back, and I go, oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? Something of significance just happened, and it's during the break, the start of the break. Not even like, okay, we got a 3-minute break. I'm going to go take a pee. I'm going to go grab a drink. If you thought that, you would have missed this. The same thing happened last week. There was like 3 maybe 2 very important spots during that Blood and Guts match that were not seen by most because of the break. And this, you didn't see because of the break. But they come back and they tell us, oh, hey, by the way, Sting was attacked. Ethan Page distracted him and Scorpio Sky attacked him. So going forward, I just lost my spot off of that ramp. Miro continued to dismantle the midsection of Darby Allin with the gut wrench hold. Allin fought back with a sleeper, having to readjust his grip due to the attack. Miro then started to fade, but eventually reached the bottom rope. Miro then rolled to the floor, where Allin reapplied the sleeper. He tried to use the championship to fight out, but the official took it away. After, Miro then thrusted himself and Darby into a wall at ringside. So basically, he crushed Darby back first into this wall. Broke the hold. Miro then brought Allin back into the ring and continued the attack on Allin's right arm before just dumping him on the rope. Allin was in pain, but saw Sting there, and the 2 fist bumped, getting a little re-energized, I guess you could say. Allin kind of hulked up a little bit, and he slaps Miro and hits him with a stunner, cradled him, and got a close near fall. He then hit a second stunner and climbed the ropes, but Miro caught the coffin drop. Allin then flipped out of a German suplex and rolled Miro up for a fantastic near fall. We then see Darby hit the code red on Miro. Yeah, Miro took a code red. That's not just an easy move for a guy Miro's size. That means Miro had to do a fucking backflip. Miro then pops up off this near fall and locks in the game over. So he's got the game over, the camel clutch on. He then wrenches it back and wrenches before finally Darby verbally taps to the ref. The ref calls for the bell, and we have a brand new TNT champion. And what do these fuckers do? Immediately cut to ringside where Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page once again attack Sting. You've got a new fucking champ in the ring, but that don't matter. Sting's getting attacked at ringside. All of a sudden, the Murder Hawk monster, fucking Lance Archer and Jake Roberts come out. And for some reason, Lance starts yelling at Miro like he did something wrong. No, he just competed in a match and won the fucking belt. But fucking Lance is yelling at Miro, and Miro's just like, hey, I'm the champ. I got to celebrate. And the show goes off the air. They try to do too much at the end of these shows most weeks. And again, this was another one. And I forgot to mention when fucking Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page were attacking Sting, just randomly for no reason, Dark Order comes out, runs off Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Why? Because they needed to get him on the show, even though they already were on the show earlier with Hangman. But yeah, too much going on at the end. You didn't focus on, Miro's the new champion. It was kind of just like all this boom, 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 boom. Oh, we'll see you next week, folks. And it just goes off the air. Like they rushed it off the air. And there's been a lot of that over the last month of them doing too much in the last minute or two of the show and then just rushing off the air, in my opinion. Just too much of that. I do want to say thank you to Broken King Slender for the bit donation and in the Twitch chat. Really do appreciate that. But a great show from an in-ring aspect. But as far as the, I guess you could say, entertainment side of things go, they just tried to do way too much. And they've done that a lot recently. Just trying to do too much. But with that, that was AEW Dynamite. Now I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's show. You can let me know by texting in to 510-906-1341. Let's check out the polls first. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 83% of you liked the show, with 17% thinking the show was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 77% of you liked tonight's show, 15% thought it was just all right, and 8% disliked tonight's Dynamite. But now, excuse me, let's go to the text messages, see what you guys thought of the show. Remember, you can text in to 510-906-1341. Got a number of text messages here, actually. This person says, Tim, do you believe Cody will bring back his dad's signature polka dot gear to Double or Nothing, since he is calling himself the American Dream, Cody Rhodes? Now, maybe. He's done homage to the polka dots before as Stardust. But if you really think about what those polka dots represent, they represent Vince McMahon making fun of Dusty Rhodes. So I can see it because he's done it in the past. But honestly, I can maybe see Cody doing like an old 80s Dusty like tribute thing. Like an NWA Jim Crockett Promotions what's it called? Tribute gear. Not saying he won't because he's done it before. So that's why I'm saying not fully no. Chris says, what are your thoughts on SCU versus Young Bucks? I already talked about that. This person said there were two references from WWE on AEW. One when Nick Jackson did the I'm Sorry, I Love You, and he kicked Christopher Daniels, and the champagne bath. Correct, talked about that. This person says, always keep up the good work. Since it's a triple threat match for the AEW World title match, are you looking forward to more Miro versus Archer for the title of Double or Nothing? Huh? I think you're asking, do I want to see the triple threat or Miro versus Lance Archer? I assume it's Miro versus Lance Archer for the title, but we don't know that yet. For all we know, it can be Darby getting his rematch. So I'm going to hold off on answering that one. It says, Bro has did he get arrested for that? This is the same company that had a death match and the same company that had Darby thrown downstairs. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, the whole he was arrested for shit, because we've had way worse stuff happen in this company. I mean, Stadium Stampede. Just saying. The fucking barbed wire electrify match. How about Cody getting fucking gang warfare beat up by the Dark Order? I mean, shit. Versus thought AEW was great tonight, but only two things I would have changed. I don't have these referees be the cleanup crew for the confetti, because that is not what the referees are supposed to do. Okay, hold on. You've never watched Japanese wrestling then. That's always the referee's job. When you throw the fucking streamers into the ring, the ref is the one that clears them out. Well, the refs with sometimes help from the young boys at ringside, but that's always the ref's job. And this person says it's not the ref's job, are supposed to do that behind the scenes crew jobs. You've never watched Japanese wrestling. This person said, when the Inner Circle came out with a golf cart, actually it's called a Polaris, not a golf cart. Big difference, bud. You could see part of Chris Jericho in the back. Have different camera angle. Yeah, I know. It says, where does Darby and Sting go from here? I always thought when Darby loses the title, he'd blame Sting, and that would be the catalyst for a Darby heel turn. I think Darby gets a rematch eventually. Whether that's a Double or Nothing or right after, we'll have to see. First says there was also the Kurt Angle milk truck incident. Correct. But the more popular one is the Austin beer truck. First says, do you think Ricky Starks for Christian Cage was the original plan for Double or Nothing? No, because Christian is in the Battle Royal. So I would have assumed maybe Ricky would be in the Battle Royal too. The person says, do you think Moxley and Kingston win the tag titles? Good chance, but probably not. And this person says, who challenges Miro first? Thought after 2 weeks ago it'd be a babyface Kip Sabian. No, Kip actually needs surgery, I believe, on his elbow. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But Kip needs surgery. And so he's out for a while. I mean, if it's not Darby getting a rematch, the first challenger will probably be Lance Archer. And Vegeta Lover says ROH does it too. Correct, because ROH, when they would do it, it would be with Japanese guys in a New Japan type of match deal. But regardless, yep. That was AEW Dynamite. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited or over on YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, you can follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Facebook, on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Also, guys, remember you can follow our website, pwunlimited.co, for the latest and breaking pro wrestling news. And if you want to directly support us, you can support us at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. We'll be live again this Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you back here live on Friday for SmackDown. Have a good one. All right. If you're still watching on Twitch, we're going